In 1982, gang wars broke out between 8 gangs in East Los Angeles. Yes, 8 different gangs. As was often the case, there was violence in all of this. Raphael, an identical twin, was one of those killed during this tragedy. He was killed at Hollenbeck Park, close to a church. Dolores Mission Church was the name of this church. Father Gregory Ball was a priest at Dolores Mission Church. Father Greg had to officiate the funeral. It was the first funeral he conducted for a citizen killed in gang violence. Unfortunately for Father Greg, this was just the beginning. Since then, he has conducted funerals for nearly 400 young people killed in gang violence. Who is Father Greg, and why is he conducting the funeral of so many victims of gang violence? This story will inspire you. It is a story of defeat and hope, a story of believing in people that even believe in themselves. It begins with the burial of Raphael, but it didn't end with it. After the burial of Raphael, Father G, as he's popularly known in East Angeles, realized that he had to do something about gang violence in his community. As the days went by, more and more people were killed. He realized that many kids in the community were not planning for their futures, they were planning for their funerals. Violence was the order of the day. But what could he do? He wasn't the government, he wasn't Bill Gates or Elon Musk, and he wasn't even a security expert. He was just a Jesuit priest who had been appointed to a church in this godforsaken gang-ridden community. Rather than be indifferent, Father Greg started going around the streets every day, visiting everyone and anyone. He would stop by at public places and hotspots that were known for violence. His presence alone often stopped violence from happening. Gradually, kids in the barrio began to recognize him. Those who were part of the gangs were finding refuge in him. They reported their problems to him, and he served as an intermediary between gangs, bringing about peace and reconciliation among different gangs. Of course, he didn't always succeed, but at least he stopped some of the violence. It was during this work that Father Greg came to a radical observation. He realized that it wasn't just that young people plan to join gangs right from childhood. Hardly anyone grows up with the dream of becoming a gangster, but eventually become one. He realized that there is one major reason why young people join gangs, and that is joblessness. This is when he started Jobs for a Future, an effort towards providing young people with skills and education that will make them employable on the job market. This was lovely and had the potential to change the lives of many gang boys in the community. If he could provide jobs for people, they would no longer have the time to engage in all their criminal activities. But there was one problem. Teaching skills to former gang members was easier than getting jobs for them. Companies were not willing to hire gang members due to their history. Of course, this is understandable. No one wants to hire a former criminal to work at their place. Who knows, one day he may steal your stuff, This is where the entrepreneur in the Jesuit priest came forth. Father Greg created Homeboy Industries, another effort to help gang members, but this time around with a unique difference. It was Father G who would be employing these former gang members himself. In 1992, an abandoned warehouse was located. Homeboy turned it into a bakery, producing bread and providing jobs. This was the first business, but it wasn't the last. Many more Homeboy businesses were established over the years, providing jobs for hundreds of former gang members. By the year 2001, Homeboys had become so successful that it moved into an $8.5 million headquarters. In 2008, 2 researchers decided to test whether the Homeboy idea was working. They discovered that while 2 in 3 former prisoners reoffend and are sent to prison again, in the case of Homeboy, only 1 in 3 former prisoners reoffend. Father Greg always believed that nothing stops a bullet more than a job, and now it was happening exactly that way. The most remarkable thing that Homeboy does is something unique: the tattoo removal program. You see, when gang members want to leave gangs, they often find it difficult to leave their previous lifestyle. Of course, this is the lifestyle they've been soaked in, this is the lifestyle they grew up in. And one of the things that was a constant reminder of this previous lifestyle was the tattoos on their body. Worse than just friends, a tattoo is something that is always on your body, and even when no one is around, you can still see it. Tattoos also have another effect. They can be used by employers to prejudice against former gang members. Homeboy decided to do something extraordinary here. They offered a free tattoo removal program to any former gang member who wants to remove their tattoos. This was a game changer for former gang members who wanted to turn a new life, especially those who didn't have an income. And this was the majority. You see, poverty and gang membership often go hand in hand. This program has been a remarkable success. As gang members got to remove their tattoos, they also received the psychological comfort that they could start again. The clinic for this tattoo removal reports an average of 156 treatments per month. In 2018 alone, over 43,000 tattoos were removed in a single year. Imagine the number of people whose life has been changed by this. Homeboy has been called the most successful and the largest gang intervention program worldwide. Due to the work of Homeboy, former gang members have been invited to share their thoughts and lives with different audiences around America. Homeboy members have even gotten the chance to meet former President Barack Obama. At Homeboy, former gang members are finding meaning for their lives. They are transforming to become useful members of society, redeeming their relationship with their families, and most importantly, they are becoming inspiration to the communities around them. Father Greg's approach is unique. He doesn't use the law enforcement methods, although one of his cardinal principles is that every gang member who commits a crime must turn himself in. He believes that God created each and every one equally, and each and every human being has the potential to be good. And that is why he's going after every gang member and giving them a second chance. For Father Greg, no one is too lost. There's no hopelessness in this. For Homeboy, the story continues. The impact continues. More and more people will continue to be reached because Father Greg took the bold step to start this. Yearly, more than 10,000 people are reached through Homeboy activities. They have several divisions, several departments that are continually making a difference. So, what is the problem your community is facing? You don't need to be the government. You don't need to be a philanthropist, but you can do something. It was Margaret Mead who said, "Never doubt that a small group of thoughtful, committed citizens can change the world. Indeed, it is the only thing that ever has." So, go out and do what you can. You may not have the connections, you may not have the money, but having the heart and having the desire to change things is enough. Thank you for watching this episode. Kindly share, subscribe. Until I see you again. Goodbye.